say, come with me off to Massachusetts, then to Massachusetts we will go. We will buy dishes there, maybe even 2 sets, buy the finest china, then we'll dine a while on crepe Suzettes.
Well, go on.
We will build model boats off in Massachusetts, there in Massachusetts by the bay. Put them together and wait until the glue sets.
What's the matter now?
I don't remember the rest, sir.
While we wait, we'll poker for the folk along the parapets.
Off,
To Massachusetts,
yes, we're off.
to where the shops are sweet.
We will play minuets off in Massachusetts, Boston, Massachusetts, Beacon Street.
If you say, come with me off to Massachusetts, then to Massachusetts
we will go.
buy dishes there, maybe even 2 sets. Buy the finest china, then we'll dine a while on crepe Suzettes. Yes, we're off to Massachusetts.
Yes, we're off.
Yes, we're off to where the
shops are sweet. We will have no regrets off in Massachusetts.
Boston, Massachusetts, we.
Boston, Massachusetts, we. Boston, Massachusetts, we're indeed.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to On Stage. I am your host, Chris Peterson, and I am so excited that you've taken some time out of your busy days to be spending listening to me ramble about all things theater, locally, regionally, on Broadway. We discuss it all on here, and I'm really excited to be able to talk to you tonight. Big show ahead of us tonight. A lot of things to talk about. I got to see some really great shows in the past couple weeks that I want to talk about here on this podcast. I also want to preview 2 shows that are opening and running right now that you should definitely be taking a look at in the next couple weeks. And then finally, I want to kind of have some fun. I, of course, am a musical theater and straight play aficionado, so to speak. And I love seeing theaters do new types of works, and we've seen some really great pieces and some bold pieces this season from several theaters. So what I'd like to do is give you my top 3 plays and musicals that I would love to see done more in this area. And if it sparks an idea in someone's head that has any influence in selection of any plays or musicals, hopefully this will be a good idea. So hopefully you're listening to this. But before I get into all of that, I have a very happy announcement to make. For those of you who don't know, I'm pleased to announce that I'll be directing at the Wilton Play Shop next year in their spring production, I believe, of Noel Coward's Relative Values. And I'm really looking forward to getting back behind the stage, I guess you could say, directing. It's my first passion. I absolutely love directing, and I absolutely love Noel Coward's work. And this is actually one of my favorite Noel Coward pieces. My very first show I directed in this area was Private Lives, and now I'm doing Relative Values. So being able to come back and doing another Noel Coward piece is going to be a real treat. It's a really wonderful show. For those of you who don't know it, it is a hysterically funny show, and it's going to be such a fun time. It's basically about this well-to-do aristocratic British family whose young Earl son is going to be marrying a Hollywood actress, which is, of course, looked down upon by the family. But little do they know that the maid, the head maid of the house, is actually the estranged sister of this American actress. So then the mother of the matriarch of the family decides to dress up this maid as one of their own, and hijinks ensues. So it really is a funny play. I certainly hope you'll all come out to see it. I certainly hope you'll all come out to audition for it, because there are plenty of roles and plenty of different age groups and demographics. So it's going to be a fun production, and I absolutely love Noel Coward's work. So having a fan direct a production like this, I think, can only help, and I'm really, really looking forward to doing this, and I'm even looking even more forward to working with the Wilton Play Shop. They've done some really phenomenal work over the past couple of years that I've been able to see there. Everybody who I've met so far is the salt of the earth. I mean, they are just some of the nicest people you'll ever meet. So knowing what I know now, I just absolutely cannot wait to meet more people and get to know these folks quite well. So that definitely be on the lookout for that this time next year, I guess. And starting in March, April, I'll be talking about it obviously more on this podcast, if I'm still doing this podcast, which I'm really hoping that I will be doing. So, relative values, check out for that. There could be some more announcements coming up in a couple weeks about other seasons, other theaters that are doing certain shows, and we'll certainly highlight those right here on stage. But let's talk about what I've seen in the past couple weeks. First and foremost, I opened up the show with a song from Little Women called "Off to Massachusetts," which is actually one of my favorite songs from this musical. Little Women, of course, was actually playing at the Wilton Play Shop and just ended their 3-week run. Unfortunately, I was not able to go see it. It was definitely on my radar. I definitely had it marked that I would try to get out there, but unfortunately, life happened, and I wasn't able to make it out there, so I wanted to give them their due by opening up this podcast with a song from Little Women. So congratulations to the cast, to the crew, everybody involved in Little Women, especially the director, Lauren Sherwood. I definitely apologize for not getting out to see it myself, but everybody I've talked to that did get to see it had nothing but really great things to say. So congratulations to everybody, and let me give you your well deserved applause there. But let's talk about shows that I did get to see. I got to see 2 shows in the past couple weeks. The first being Les Miserables at Curtain Call and Time Stands Still at Square One in Stratford. And let me open by talking about Les Miserables first and foremost. When I saw Curtain Call announce their season last year around this time of the year, and I saw that they were going to do Les Mis, I thought to myself, my God, what an undertaking. I'm going to be really interested to see how they're going to be able to pull this off, if they're going to be able to pull this off, because it is just such an epic show. And I can tell you this, folks, what I saw on a Thursday night at Curtain Call was probably the best job a community theater is ever going to be able to do with this production. Let's be honest. Cameron McIntosh designed Les Mis, built Les Mis to be performed on grand stages where the proportions are about 5 times the size of what Curtain Call has, where the pit is 5 times the size of what Curtain Call can do, where the ensemble is twice as large than what can fit on that stage. And I have to tell you, with all of that, Curtain Call still did a great job with this production. Cameron McIntosh is a jerk by making these shows almost impossible for community theaters to do without being campy or hokey. For instance, I saw a production of Miss Saigon, which is one of my favorite scores to listen to, up in Rocky Hill about 5 years ago, and it was awful. It was a dreadful production because they didn't know how to take a musical of that scale and bring it down to a community level. What Curtain Call did was you didn't see them really have to scale things down. They just made it their own, and they did a really great job in many different places in that musical. Was it a flawless production? No. Is any production ever flawless? Absolutely not. I've never seen a flawless production, but I thought Curtain Call did a great job, and I want to highlight just a couple people and give praise to a couple people involved. First and foremost, Ryan O'Neal, who played Jean Valjean. I saw Ryan play Sweeney Todd a couple years ago at Curtain Call. I thought he was fantastic in this, and I thought he was even better as Jean Valjean. His voice just seemed to really fit this role, especially during Bring Him Home, which was a very hard piece to sing. I've tried it myself. It's very hard. And Ryan made it look easy. And Ryan's just a very talented individual, and I thought he did a really nice job as Jean Valjean. I was also really surprised by Chris Wilkes, who played Javert. Now, Chris I saw as Bobby in Company at Westport Community Theater, and I thought he did a nice job there, but man, he really brought it in this production, and I thought that he really fit the character very, very well. I won't lie to you, when I saw the original casting for this production, I kind of looked at Chris being Javert, and I was like, really? He would not be the first person I would think of in that role, but obviously Eli and everybody involved in the casting knew what they were doing. So, and I thought he did a really, really nice job as Javert. Very strong performance by him. You could really see Javert's obsessive behavior with chasing and pursuing Valjean. Like I said, I think it was a great job by Chris. Another couple other people I want to highlight: playing the elder Cosette, Becky Craig. My gosh, what a voice! What a voice! Probably one of the best soprano voices I've heard in this area. Ever. She did just such a nice job with that role. There's one segment where she's singing a trio with Jean Valjean and Marius, and she hits these notes with just such ease that you can't help but it sends shivers down your spine. I got goosebumps every time she sang. So, congratulations to Becky on that. And if you haven't heard Becky Craig sing yet, you are missing out. I believe she sings at her church every single Sunday, so you could go to her church and hear her sing there. But she did such a nice job as the elder Cosette. I also want to definitely give out some props to Marilyn Olsen and Brian Bianco, who played Madame and Sir Thénardier. They did a phenomenal job. They definitely brought out the laughs. Those roles usually bring out the laughs in this piece, and they definitely did a great job on that end. Master of the House was an interesting song because it seemed a little fast, and it could be that maybe they were trying to speed it up to keep up the energy, to maybe shorten the length of the show. But from what I've seen this show probably about 5 times now. That was the fastest I've ever seen Master of the House performed. And like I said, it wasn't a bad thing, and I didn't think it took away from anything, but it definitely was noticeable, and it was an interesting choice to speed it up maybe a half a beat, which I thought was pretty interesting. And also during that production, during that scene, they were pickpocketing patrons at the bar, and at one point they pulled out a modern day wallet with visible credit cards in it. So I don't know whose decision that was, or maybe they just pulled out the wrong prop, but that was pretty noticeable, and I had myself a giggle when I saw that as well. But like I said, overall great production. I also want to give out huge props to the ensemble, everybody involved. Look, when you've got a smaller ensemble like this, and you've got people playing 6 or 7 different roles at once, and you got to run on and run off and change your costumes, put makeup, take makeup off, put different makeup on. It's tough. I've been there myself, and I thought this ensemble did a great job. I thought some of the best voices in the production overall were actually in the ensemble as well. So very strong ensemble. Everybody involved. I want to also mention a huge shout out to Bill Adams. Best of luck, buddy. Get well soon. I hope everything's going all right. But he was the person I was hoping to see in the ensemble. I didn't get to see him that night, but I hope Bill's doing all right. But everybody else I thought really did a nice job. A couple highlights in the ensemble. Obviously, Tony Republicano, who can pretty much do anything he wants. I thought he was great. A bit underused, if you ask me, but I thought he was fantastic in every single role. I wish I'd just seen more of him on stage. Also, Dan Travers, obviously always doing a great job in the ensemble. Marcello Calderon, who I worked with, and you can't take it with you. Great actor. An even better human being, just such a fun guy to be around. So congratulations to him. On the ladies' side, Meredith Walker, Donna Fox, Daniela Sawyer, Liz Sabia, congratulations to all of you. You did a fantastic job. The ensemble really carried this show in a lot of different places. So overall, like I said, I thought it was a great show. Congratulations to Eli Newsom, to George Kroom, the music director, to Carrie Ann Sweeney, the choreographer, to Lou Arson, obviously the executive director at Curtain Call, on just a really great production. And like I said, you have now set the bar very high for another community theater to be able to do Les Miserables, and I really do feel that way. And congratulations all around. And I can't wait to see what you do with Gypsy in the next couple months, and that's going to be really exciting. Another production I got to see last weekend, or the weekend before, last weekend, was Time Stands Still, the Donald Margulies piece, which was going on at Square One Theater in Stratford. And I have to tell you, folks, this was one of the better acting ensembles I've seen in quite a while. Just 4 actors who did a tremendous job, who I felt were better than the script that they were given. And like I said, Time Stands Still is not a terrible play. It's not my favorite Donald Margulies piece. It's not my favorite play that I've seen of his. But man, this cast was just a powerhouse ensemble to be able to watch on stage. And if you didn't get a chance to see it, you really missed out on this one. Just to highlight a couple people, first and foremost, David Victor, who's an actor that I have the utmost respect for. I had a chance to work with him in Laughter on the 23rd Floor. Gosh, it must have been 6 or 7 years ago. He is such a fantastic actor, and he's such a great guy to work with. David, I feel, is one of the best actors in this area at playing working class, working men type characters. These hard-nosed individuals that are going through extraordinary circumstances. And David is such a good job, does such a good job of showing these struggles on stage and really personifying them. And he's such a strong actor on that end. So congratulations to David. I thought he was tremendous in this performance. Only matched by, obviously, Janet Rathert, who I had a chance to see in Sweet Bird of Youth at New Canaan last season. Janet's another tremendous actress who's very, best suited in intimate spaces because she does such a great job with some of her facial expressions, her movements on stage that are so intricate and minuscule, but you can see the craft there. You can see what she's doing. She's not she's not making these grand gestures, these over the top movements or expressions or inflections with what she's doing on stage. It's just so minimal and intricate that you wish you could be sitting in the front row to be able to see it all. And I just have the utmost respect for her. Those two folks are right at the top, right in my wheelhouse of people that I would love to work with at some point. 2 other actors in this show that I thought did a great job. Pat Leo is someone that I only know through Reputation, but his reputation was fantastic, and of course it was proven correct in this production. I thought he did a great job. He played kind of the friend / boss role, very dry humor, which what it looks like what that role called for. And I thought he did a very nice job here. And then playing his very young, much younger, fiance and then wife was Allison Wood, who's another actress that I have yet to work with, but I've seen in a handful of things, and she always is a very strong, energetic actress. What was interesting about Allie was that, with her role, a lot of actresses might choose to go flighty or ditzy with it, but Allie, while you certainly saw the humor in that role, and she certainly was the comic relief in this very dramatic piece, she never went over the top with it. She never went campy with it. It was never predictable or cliched, and I thought that was a very strong choice on her end. So congratulations to Allie for a very strong and very conscious performance on stage, which I really enjoyed seeing. And like I said, the entire cast, I'm not a huge fan of the script. I wasn't overly loving every single thing that the script was telling this fantastic cast to do and say, but like I said, I think this is one of those few times where the ensemble is just doing so much better of a performance than what the script is calling for. So congratulations to everybody involved. Square One, I think, consistently does some of the boldest choices of theater for any community theater in the area, and I can't wait to see what they're doing next season. They've got one more show coming up this spring as well. We'll be talking about that, of course, on this podcast. So congratulations to them on a really strong performance. When we come back, we're going to be previewing some shows that are coming up this weekend that you definitely need to get out and see. And then I'm going to be talking about my top 3 plays and musicals that should be performed more in this area. So we'll be right back right after this.
I always thought life is like a fight. You keep battling just to get a chance at respect, at dignity, at love. Broadway. Previews begin this February.
And we're back. So, what's going on this week, and what can I see right now, Chris? Well, what you can definitely go out and see this weekend and next weekend is To Kill a Mockingbird going on at the Bridgeport Theater Company. Obviously, in Bridgeport, they performed at the Downtown Cabaret Theater. This is a phenomenal play to be able to see live. First of all, it's an amazing novel. In my opinion, one of the top 10 most important pieces of literature written in American 20th century history. It's a phenomenal book. It's a phenomenal film, and this is going to be a great, great play to be able to see. Obviously, it's about Scout Finch and her older brother Jem and their widowed father Atticus, who is a lawyer appointed by the court to defend a black man accused of raping a young white woman. This is a very powerful theatrical experience, and my God, what a cast they have lined up. What an amazingly talented local cast of local artists. First and foremost, obviously playing the iconic role of Atticus Finch is Will Jeffries, and Will has done some amazing work in the past couple years that I've had a chance to see, ranging from Frost Nixon to All My Sons to Death of a Salesman. He directed a fantastic production of A Streetcar Named Desire, Curtain Call this past winter. He's done some really, really great work, and I can't wait to see him step into Atticus's shoes because it's such a great, great role. Another great actress, Kitty Robertson, is in this. She plays Jean Louise Finch. Really looking forward to seeing Kitty. I had a chance to work with her briefly. Tremendous, tremendous actress, so this is another perfect role for her. Kevin Pelkey, Lynette Victoria, who just played Abigail in The Crucible. Roger Dykman, who I had a chance to work with this past fall, and You Can't Take It With You. Another great actor. Ryan Eel, Stephen DeRocco, John Atkin, Andrew Garman. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So it is a tremendous cast. Get your tickets now at bridgeporttheater.org. It runs from this weekend, March 21st to March 29th. Tickets range from $18 to $23. You can bring food, you can bring drinks, but my God, put your wrappers away when the show begins. I cannot stress that enough. I love that you can eat in certain theaters, but I hate when I watch people still continue when the show begins and create a distraction for their audience members. So if you're going to bring food, finish it before the show starts, or make sure you unwrap every single piece of food that you possibly can and nibble quietly while the show is going on. I had an experience this when I went to see Les Mis where I was sitting next to a group of women that just had the toughest time opening up packages of cookies to eat during the second act of Les Mis, and it drove me up the freaking wall. So eat your food and then watch the show. But anyway, go see To Kill a Mockingbird this weekend, next weekend. I'm going to be going next weekend, probably their closing performance. I can't wait, so go get your tickets now. Another show that you definitely have to go see is Dead Man's Cell Phone going on at Curtain Call. And that show is actually approaching their second weekend. They opened last weekend, and I heard some really, really great things. It's going on at Curtain Call in the dressing room theater. It's a great Sarah Rule piece. Very wonderfully bold choice by Curtain Call to do a play like this. Great, great cast. Mark Rossetti, Stephanie Hazard, Annalisa DiNucci, just to name a few. Really, really strong small cast. So get yourself to Dead Man's Cell Phone going on right now at the Dressing Room Theater at Curtain Call. You can get your tickets online. You can buy them at the door. You can try to buy them at the door. And once again, this is another theater where you can bring your food, and for the love of God, eat your food and finish your food before the show begins, or unwrap everything and then stuff it down your gullet. So, just for the sake of other people being in the theater with you. So go out and go see these two shows because I guarantee you they're going to be fantastic. Now, to wrap things up for tonight's podcast, I want to talk about shows that I absolutely love, that I would love to see done more in this area. I've selected 3 plays and 3 musicals that I think would be perfect fits for a lot of different theaters in this area. So let's start off with the plays. So the first play that I would love to see performed now is a Peter Nichols piece called A Day in the Death of Joe Egg. Now the play centers on a British couple who are struggling to save their marriage while trying to raise their only child, a small girl with cerebral palsy. Now she uses a wheelchair and is unable to communicate. Caring for her has occupied nearly every moment of their parents' lives since her birth, taking obviously a heavy toll on their marriage. Now, Sheila, the mother, gives Josephine, who's the child, as much of a life as she can, while Bree wants the child to be institutionalized and has begun to entertain chilling fantasies of killing himself and Josephine. I won't lie, it's a dark, dramatic comedy, I guess you could say. Well, it's technically a black comedy. It gets very black, obviously, but this is a tremendous piece, and it really is a strong piece about how a child's disability and the stress that it can put on a marriage. Obviously, there's a lot of families out there that have children with disabilities, special needs. And how those families are able to keep their relationships intact and strong is a real testament to their will. And this is just a great piece that really highlights this. It premiered in London, and it was starred actually Eddie Izzard as Bree, the father, in this role. It actually also opened on Broadway, and it starred Zena Walker, Albert Finney, Michael Blackmore. So it really was a very strong play, and it's been done many times in professional theaters that I would just absolutely love to see done locally on stage. It's also a film, a 1972 film as well, starring Alan Bates. So if you haven't seen it, definitely go see it because it's a great movie as well. So that's the first play that I would absolutely love to see done more in this area. The next play that I would absolutely love to see done by a theater in this area is quite the undertaking for any actor, and that is The Elephant Man. Which of course is the play by Bernard, and I always pronounce his name wrong, but Pomerantz. Obviously, it's an iconic role. The role of John Merrick, and for any actor having to play this, and what the play calls for what the actor has to do on stage is truly remarkable. It is such a strong and powerful piece, and I definitely encourage any theater to possibly think about doing The Elephant Man, because it really is. There's no prosthetic makeup. It's almost required. It's required by the script, so it all comes from the actor and has to deform themselves and letting the audience imagine what Merrick looks like. And it's really such a great piece, very powerful, tragic piece to see on stage. So if you're looking for a really powerful drama to have in your season, I definitely recommend The Elephant Man. And obviously, for any actor, they're going to jump at the chance to play these roles because they are just absolutely iconic and such a great role to play as well. So The Elephant Man would be my second pick for shows that I would love to see done more. The final play that I would love to see performed in this area is Wendy Wasserstein's masterpiece, The Sisters Rosenwig, which is a play that focuses on three Jewish American sisters and their lives. And it's such a great piece. It's so funny. And we have so many talented women in this area that would be absolutely perfect in this play. And it's such a smart script. And I think Wendy Wasserstein is one of the best, if not the best, female playwrights in our times. And this is a great piece of work that's just not done nearly enough. So The Sisters Rosenwig is definitely on my list. It's my top pick for a show that needs to be done more often. It's a small, intimate show. Every single theater in this Fairfield County area could do The Sisters Rosenwig. It is such a strong piece. Women will love it. It'll certainly be a ladies' night out type of piece to be able to go see, and so much fun for audiences to enjoy. So those are my top three picks to go see. A Day in the Death of Joe Egg, The Elephant Man, and The Sisters Rosenwig. So those are the three plays that I would absolutely love to see performed more. Now, moving on to the musicals. Now, there's a lot of musicals that are done throughout the year. Not a lot of theaters are able to do musicals, obviously, for the size and space requirement. But here are three that I would absolutely love to see done more in this area. And let's start with number 3. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm just going to play the music, some of the music from the show. So this is number 3, so enjoy. It is the opening number to Title of Show which is one of my favorite musicals, one of my favorite small musicals to come on the scene in the past couple of years. It is perfect for small, intimate musicals. Off the top of my head, Town Players in New Canaan, Wilton Play Shop, the DRT and Curtain Call. This would be Westport Community Theater. This would be the perfect musical for you folks to be able to do because it's small. There's no pit. It's a piano and it's a four-person cast. So definitely think about it because it's a great musical. Here's the opening number from Title of the Show.
A, D, 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 F sharp A will be the first notes of our show. We'll start with the seed of an idea, then plant it onto paper with a Dixon Ticonderoga, and then watch it sprout into a musical. And then we'll help to make it grow bigger. Nothing guarantees it will stand out, and its future is unknown. So in the meantime, we will schedule a lot of meetings in Hell's Kitchen to collaborate in my living room, but we can't do it all alone.
So,
We'll get together all our friends and exploit all of their talents. We'll explore the latest trends and avoid them when we balance the book with the score. The score with a lyric appealing to the judge. These are shapes gently nudging the satiric. We're trying hard not to duplicate what we've seen and heard before. And if Bart talks here, he'll appreciate if we're inventive with the score. So we'll put in a syncopation and we'll add a quarter note. And we'll softly start the coda from a very tiny point. And then we'll get a little louder to further emphasize the point. And then we'll cross downstage toward you. And now we're yelling fortissimo. Yelling fortissimo. Yelling fortissimo. It's the opening song. It doesn't have a title, no. And it's not very long. But it's the starting point of our musical. And here's the first scene of our musical.
Yeah, title of show. It's about basically two guys who are writing a musical about two guys writing a musical, basically documenting the songwriting process. It is hilarious, and I really hope a theater looks into this because they will not regret it. It is such a great piece, and for any musical theater nerd out there like myself, they will flock to come see this show. So title of show, that's number 3 on my list of musicals that need to be done more in this area. So, my number 2 is this.
When I marry Mr. Snow, the flowers will be buzzing with the hum of bees. The birds will make a racket in the churchyard trees. When I marry Mr. Snow.
Ah, yes. Carousel. If you haven't heard it, if you've never heard of it, then I feel sorry for you. It is by far my favorite Rodgers and Hammerstein musical. That, of course, is the tremendous Audra McDonald singing it, who actually played the role of Carrie Pipperidge in the 1994 revival on Broadway. I absolutely love Carousel. To me, it's the most meaningful and deepest of all the Rodgers and Hammerstein musicals. It's such a beautiful score. I mean, if listening to the opening number, the overture of Carousel doesn't give you chills, then I don't know what will. It's such a great musical. The costuming is great. The choreography can be fantastic. It's a larger show, so theaters that have larger stages that can fit a nice extravagant pit and things like that would probably be best suited for a show like this. But man, I would love to. Personally, I would love to direct Carousel, but even more so, I'd love to see it done by more theaters in this area because it's just such a strong piece that really needs to be done more in this area. So, what could possibly be number one? With all the musicals that are out there, with so many musicals that are being done each year, what could I possibly think should be the one musical that needs to absolutely be done in this area? Well, here it is.
I am on